You're listening to the Ultimate Metal Show with your host, Brian Mandigo.
Yeah, what's going on, people? Greetings, aliens. Thank you for tuning in to the Ultimate Metal Show. Today, we are proud to present a couple of the members from the band Annabel Lee. Mr. Jim Hadaka.
Yes,
You
sir.
got that right.
You got it right. Yes, sir.
And Mr. Joshua Sid Dean.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
So Sid, your last name? Or
No, Sid is my name.
Sid is your name. Okay. So
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, man. Thanks for coming in. This is our second Ultimate Metal Show. So you guys, our first with a guest. Well, technically in studio, our first guest was Brian. With the host was the guest for our first show.
I wasn't expecting it, believe me.
It turned into a job.
Yeah.
But he did a great job. You can check it out on YouTube.
Absolutely. And if you don't already have the Statesvegas app, you can download it for free on Google or iTunes, not iTunes, but
App Store.
App Store.
Yeah, I always get that mixed up, too.
know?
You know.
But it's free. It's
Absolutely,
awesome.
100% free.
And you can tune in any time of the day with a click of the button. It's like a plug and play. You can't beat it.
And you can also listen on your laptop or your desktop, I should say.
Absolutely.
Go to statesvegasradio.com and you'll see it's a little button that says listen now and just turn it on. So you can listen like if you're at work, I guess. You know?
Absolutely. You know what I do? I get a little Bluetooth speaker. You can buy them for like $10, $15. You know what I mean? Those things are just amazing. Take your phone and just go... and then listen to it anywhere you want.
Crank out the Annabel Lee in the office at work. Man, right?
I think it's great, man. I just put the app on my phone just now, a little bit ago.
It's simple, isn't it? So many people are
Some tunes
confused.
on
They're
the way
like,
home.
what is going to clog up my phone? Is it, it's a virus? I'm like, nah. It's because I developed it. That's why. They're like, this guy can't put together an app. There must be something wrong with it. But it's real simple to download. And it sounds good. Got good sound quality.
So we're going to talk a little bit with Annabel Lee. You know, I guess there's 4 members. You guys want to give us the names of everybody besides you two and what they do?
Well, other than me, I'm Sid. I do the lead vocals. We have Chad Honeycutt. He also goes by Hugo. He does our drums. Does all our 808 bass drops. And then we got Jared Allen. He's our bass player, also known as Crom.
Right, by
Crom.
Yes.
Yeah, he drops that shit. It's badass.
That's awesome, yeah.
And we got Jim over there.
Yes.
Jimmy
absolutely.
Chaos.
Yep.
Hell yeah, he took that shit out. I like it.
And you guys been around for about 8 years?
Yeah, 8 years. We started out as a 5-piece here in Mooresville, down in Mooresville, rather.
That's all right.
What up, Mom?
Say hello to Brian's wife, everybody. Hello.
No, I wasn't.
It's another guest wanting to be on the show.
Yeah.
They're calling in already. But yeah, we started out like probably 8 years ago and had another guitar player. Had some transition in the band. We actually took like 8-9 months off. All of us did, and we still hung out and stuff, but there's really no music involved. And we just regrouped with the 4 of us remaining and continued on and put out 2 CDs since. So
And they're
it's gone pretty well.
Damn fine CDs at that.
Thank you.
And you know, last time that actually I shared a stage with you guys a little over 2 years ago at the Blind Tiger, there was some festival going on there, and I think that was like my first gig with Black Demise, and you guys were on the bill, and I remember Josh, you know what I mean, because he was going nuts the whole night, man. I love this guy's enthusiasm, you know. One of the things that has drawn me to love Annabel Lee is this guy right here. You know what I mean? I mean, he is a light,
A force,
a beacon in a world of darkness when it comes to metal. When you really look at your posts and how much you really are involved and love what you do. There's not too many people that love what they do to the point where you can just see it overwhelmingly, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's nothing greater than going out to a show and you're rocking out on stage and you look out and you just see everybody just feeling it too. And they're just getting down. And, you know, that's what sometimes I just jump out there with them, man. You know, it's just fun. So
you feed off the crowd.
Yeah, it's the energy.
And most shows you find him in the pit from the first band to the last band anyway. And it's awesome when bands don't know who he is. You know, they see this guy out in the pit that's so enthusiastic, and he's
Who's
just
that guy
throwing
out there?
down. And then 2 bands later,
He's up on the
wow,
stage.
he's right on stage. So
cool.
we're lucky to have that energy for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm the instigator.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, because something. There's nothing worse than going to most of the shows that we all do, or multiple bands. 3, 4, sometimes 5, sometimes more, and you get the bands and they're not up there supporting all the bands. They're outside talking, or they're outside. Now I get after you get done off the stage. You know what I mean? You got to unload your stuff, get your stuff into your trailer or your vehicles or whatever the case may be. But don't hang out there when your brothers are up on stage.
Oh yeah, I know.
Come in, get up front, or me. My favorite spot is just outside the speakers. I love to get up front, but I love to get where the honey hole spot of sound is.
Yeah.
Did I say honey hole?
That's the
honey
honey spot.
That's the spot.
Well, see, that's why I got a wireless mic. Sometimes I'm corded, sometimes I'm wireless. If I'm wireless, it's not good either way, because if I got a corded mic, it ends up around my neck, or somebody else's, or like if I have the wireless or something, man, there's no leash attached. I'm everywhere, man. I'll go across the street at a damn restaurant, and I'll jump on your table. I'll go outside where everybody's hanging out, and I'll fucking jump out there and just start pit outside. I've done that before. I went out. I think it was at Ground Zero. We were playing up there, and everybody was outside, and I went outside and started a pit out there, and we were just tearing it up out there. It was badass.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a first.
I bet you Mick's like, yeah, those guys are coming back.
Yeah, they love us there, man. We have
Oh,
fun.
yeah. Mick's a great dude. I've known him for many, many years.
So is Annabel Lee your first band that you've been in?
Yeah, it's my first band. I tried to start some other bands. I used to be a drummer before I was a vocalist, so I used to play drums.
That's where you get the energy from?
Yeah. Brandon Lawson, I used to hang out with him. He used to play guitar, and I used to rock out drums. I just wanted to mess around, just try different things. And I was like, I never really thought about, doing vocals. And I just goofed around with it. I saw an ad on Craigslist, someone looking for a singer. And I was like, I had to learn like 2 songs, be at a practice on like a Tuesday at like 6 o'clock. And I was like, okay, I'll learn these 2 songs. So it was like Crimson Smile and a song we don't play anymore called Pain of My Choice. And I went there, threw down, and they were like, oh, wow. And then what was it, like 3 months later, we ended up opening for Devil Driver at Amos South End. It blew my mind. Like, and all that remained, just never know.
What'd you think when this guy walked through the door?
Honestly, it was a breath of fresh air, because we had 2 singers that were kind of in and out that we'd been working with. We were friends with both of them. One of them was our old guitar player's cousin. They were both good singers, but neither of them really wanted to commit to it and show up 2 times a week, 3 times a week, whatever we were practicing. And he was just like, to learn something in 2 days, 2 songs, come in and sound exactly like what we were looking for. It was pretty much the decision was made that night after he left. We're like,
He just
get
had
him
that
back.
star quality, right? He looks the part, that's for sure. When
Hey,
I knew he was a singer as soon as I saw
I've never
it.
been in a band before. I've
Yeah.
never sang in a band before.
Yeah.
We're like,
Wow,
I mean,
that's impressive.
that's okay. Try it out and see what you think. And
Yeah. I mean, I
Here
look
we
back.
are.
I look back though, man. Not everybody, is perfect at the beginning. Like when I first joined up, I mean, when we started doing our first shows, I stood in like one spot. Like I didn't really know what to do. I had like no really any character up on stage. So then over the years, you start developing and you start, figuring things out. When people come out to see you, they don't want to hear you play everything exactly, to perfection.
Right.
They're coming out to see a show. Yeah. So you need to come out, you need to throw down,
That's right.
do some crazy shit. Something they can take back home and be like, man, this band, I went out to go see him, man, this dude was like, it was bleeding up on stage. He jumped off, he threw barriers around. He was just tearing shit. He ate the ceiling and stuff. Like, you want
slaughter
that?
any goats or anything, dude.
Man, I've done so many crazy
There was
things.
some around,
not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, but like, I mean, people come out to see a show, so we make sure when we are out there, we tear it up.
Yeah, I
put
think
on a
that's
good
what it's
show
all
for
about. You see,
Yeah.
you hear these, you get these CDs sometimes, and man, they sound great, and then you go out and see them, and it's just, snooze fest, man. So you got to have both. You got to sound good and put on a show for sure.
It takes
Mr.
time
Mandigo,
to get into it, though. A lot of people
he's got that live show down too, man. That's one of the things.
I don't know. I was getting old, man. I tell you what.
Never had the energy this guy's got.
Too old.
Well, you know something. It does keep you young and young at heart. But back to Annabel Lee, Jim. What are some of your influences? Because I know that probably when it comes to the music portion of it, and I'm not saying the actual final arrangement, but I'm sure because you're the guitarist, you come up with generally most of all the riffs. You know what I mean? So, and I listen to your guys' music, and I'm like, wow, it has that real heavy, awesome edge to it. But then I hear some other stuff in there. You know what I mean? I hear, progressive stuff. I hear, oh gosh, I can't really explain it, but there's a different sound in there, which makes your guys sound unique amongst all other bands. A lot of bands, let's face it, we know they all sound the same. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying all of our buddies that are in the circuit or anything like that, you know what I mean? But after a while, it's like, okay, next. And then you run into a band that is a breath of fresh air, you know what I mean? That still has the aggression, it still has the power, but yet transforms it into a different style of their own. So what are your influences in regard to that?
My influences are like Eddie Van Halen and Slash, some of the real classic stuff, and the Beatles, Eric Clapton, but then late 90s, early 2000s, Sepultura, Deftones, Korn. Got into alternative. Billy Corgan's a great songwriter, so just all these different things. Master of Puppets I started listening to in 4th grade. I was like, it's like one of those things you're not sure you're supposed to have at that age, but it sounds so good and you just like it so much. So we put all that together, and when we start writing songs, it's pretty open. So if there's any, let's not do that here, that's fine. Riffs get thrown away. We just don't put any barriers up on how to get from point A to point B. So if it's, let's try a clean channel there.
Right.
Let's try a little solo after that and build it into something else. We don't not try anything. So.
Right. So there's no distinct common formula for every song that you write. You're not looking, okay, we got to do, this 4 times, and then this 3 times, and then this 4 times, and this 2 times,
And that's the end of our 5-piece days. Yeah. And all of our songs started just falling verse, chorus, transition, verse, chorus, breakdown, guitar solo, song's over. Right. And it just got real predictable. And we felt like we were just writing the same song over and over again with different riffs.
Yeah.
And creatively, it stifles everybody else in the band, and somebody comes in with a template drawn up and says, here's the song. It's not necessarily the healthiest thing for everybody else in the band that just feels like they're learning the song and playing it.
So I'm going to lead up to this next question. Why metal music? Because you guys know as well as I do, you ain't going to make no damn money.
It's the best, though.
The best.
It feels the best.
Yeah.
I think it releases the most emotions, like with all our daily lives and stuff, all the stress that we go through sometimes. Sometimes I think metal is just like the greatest outlet for that purpose. When you're having a bad day, crank on some metal and just unleash it, especially when you're driving, road rage. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's good.
Just go to a show if you're feeling down. Go to a show. Metal fans are all just a big family.
Yes,
they don't care what your name is. They don't care where you're from. You're all into that common type of music, and it's just such a brotherhood. And
that's right.
Yeah,
all that coupled together is just the best.
It really is. That's why I've been a metal fan for, since the incarnation of it.
Yeah, we touched on that on our first episode a little bit. Brian was saying how it's a brotherhood. It goes beyond barriers, race and sexuality, everything. It's pretty much
religion.
One big
doesn't
family.
Matter,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
We got our sign. We got them horns.
That's right.
You just driving down the road, you just flash it out the window, and you see like 20 other people like, doing the same thing.
Right.
You know where we're at.
Yeah. That's right.
Back to the songwriting. Do you guys all? Is it a collaborative effort between the four of you? Do you do the vocals? You do the riffs? Is it?
It is. I mean, Josh writes vocals, Jared writes vocals. Chad and I tend to practice more frequently because we can. So a lot of times Chad and I will piece together as much as we can and bring them in on it, get their opinions, make any changes. And once we're done, then we start putting the lyrics to it afterwards once it kind of gets a little personality and feel to the song.
Like I have to like listen to it for a while and I can kind of feel the attitude of it and like, okay, maybe this sounds kind of like an aggressive song. Maybe I'll talk about this. And Crombie comes in like he's good with like the really like the political stuff to hit on that point. Right. So some of our songs it just has a real aggressive feel to it. I'm like, let's collaborate right here. We'll put together some crazy like Salvation for Sale. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, like, that's anyone's favorite song.
Crom sounds like a Rage Against the Machine. Yeah, got a little rage in it. Mm-hmm.
We all do. We're all in that kind of generation, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's nice to have a lead vocalist that doesn't care about sharing the lyric responsibilities, you know what I mean? Because you get some singers, they're like, man, it's my lyrics and that's it, blah, blah, blah. And what most lead singers and frontmen don't understand is, and it especially for me, because I can't really play fluently a guitar or a bass, that somebody that actually plays and has, that isn't tone deaf, can actually come up with some really good melodies to lay over those specific riffs or melodies that is completely different than what in other words, instead of constantly working the lyrics with the rhythm all the time, you kind of just smooth over them with a different style.
That's why I twist it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like once I lyrics, I'll sit there and add a little bit of twang to it.
Yeah.
I'll make it sound, have its own little uniqueness to it in each song,
Absolutely. So, do we want to listen to an Annabel Lee?
Yeah. I think we're talking about lyrics and stuff. Tell us a little about Revolution. How did that come about? That song? What's it?
Well, I don't know.
We're gonna play it. So
you gonna play it? Yeah, man. I don't know. I think Revolution's a good song. Crom actually wrote the lyrics on that one.
I was thinking it was a Crom song.
Yeah, it's a Crom song. And I mean, that one's really good. It goes around with all the things that be going on in the world and stuff. Just like, we want to start a new revolution, have a new fresh start. So it's basically pushing people to open up their eyes to basically all the things that are going on around them. Just kind of have a better push for the next year so we can be more successful without being so blind and clouded with all the lies and just all the lies, man. It's crazy. We're fools.
Amen.
All right, man. Well,
only rich people lie.
Well,
poor people can't afford to.
You got a good point. All right, well, here we go. Revolution by Annabel Lee. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Throw them horns up, guys.
Let me tell you what to wrong.
Hell yeah. Can't believe that's you, man. You're really getting it.
Yeah, I'm really soft spoken. I can't believe it either.
How do you get all that sound out of it?
That's so awesome.
Crazy. Sounded good, man. Sounded good.
So, how long have you been playing, Jim?
26 years.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't think you were 26 years old.
Yeah. 26 years. I've played in bands since the age of 16. I've been in 5 or 6 bands, cut CDs, played shows, merch, all that stuff.
Nice.
Anybody we've heard of, maybe?
Probably not. It's all from up north.
Oh,
I moved to North Carolina like 10 years ago.
Oh, transplant.
He's a damn Yankee like me.
Transplant.
Back off.
I ain't going back. You can't make me go back.
Make me go back. Sometimes people take us damn Yankees all the wrong way. You know what I mean? What do you mean by that? Oh, what do you mean? What do I mean by that? What do you mean by that?
I don't get into the whole Yankee thing. I was like, what is that? A couple hundred years ago now? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It's all good. You know.
USA. We're all from the same country.
Favorite venues, you guys. I know you have some favorite venues. I know, of course, probably Ground Zero is one of them. Amos's probably was one when they were open.
Ground Zero, is that the one in Spartanburg?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear a lot
Ground
about
Zero's treated us very well. They're a great venue, very easy to work with, show up on time, stay for all the bands. It's a pretty simple formula, you know,
Correct.
and you support the venue, they support you back. Fillmore Underground's a really nice venue. It's hard to get into, and we fortunately were asked by friends to play there the 2 times we played there, so thank you very much, Gary, and shout out to Black Ritual.
Yeah, woo. Yeah, well, you know, I caught some of the video and pictures and everything that you guys did in Black Ritual, and there was a shitload of people there. I'll tell you what.
Insane. I mean, Somewhere Else
Tavern, yeah.
It's a great little venue. Burley and Crystal are awesome people.
I love that place.
I mean, it's a common respect. Bands treat the venues properly. They get good treatment back, and you know, those are the venues you stay with and make friends with, and hopefully your band grows and your name grows. And
Speaking of venues, I hear you guys got a show coming up in a new spot, just pretty close by.
yeah,
Plug time.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, real quick, Milestone. God, I love that place. I can't forget the
They've been
Milestone.
around for
Love
ever.
Milestone. I ate their ceiling. Yeah.
Man, that was the first bar I ever went to when I moved to Charlotte. It was like in '89. I went there, and Penny, I don't know if she still runs or owns the place. I'm not quite sure. She used to be run Tremont too. You know, I was there, and being from the north, leather jacket, you know, metalhead, long hair, and you know, it was kind of a more punk night that was going on, which I dug, and I stuck around. And Penny's like, you know, there's another place called Rockies, you know, Rockies and Jeremiah's.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I went there, but Milestone was the very first bar I've ever, and actually I thought I was in Charleston, not Charlotte. No lie. People were like, Charleston? You're in Charlotte. I was like, oh, damn. They're going to figure out I'm a Yankee.
You're not from around here, are you, boy?
No.
I remember Jeremiah's, man. That was my stomping grounds back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever got to the Milestone.
We're about to break in that new place though for that show Slaughter by the Water.
Well, that's what I was getting at.
I might jump in the lake.
Man, I'll
Don't
tell you
drink
what,
the water.
Apps and Taps, the Pontoon. You know, this place is just simply remarkable. The lights, the sound, the owners, it is one of the nicest medium-sized clubs, and actually it's a large club. It'll hold a shitload of people. But JD, he runs the lights and sound, and he's the one that books and gets everything rolling. And let me tell you something, that place is just remarkable. You guys are going to love it. I would suggest you have somebody videotape, because it is off the hook. I mean, I know the lights were great down there to the Fillmore, you know, and you know what I mean. So it's right along that same lines. And
JD's crazy with the lights, man.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
got a killer show.
Mick
Man.
down
He just
at
keeps
Ground
adding
Zero.
to it too, man.
Mick down at Ground Zero added a lot of lights and everything. It looks great down there. But JD of there at Apps and Taps, man, I'm telling you, when he pulls out all the bells and whistles, and the PA's just like,
I mean, every other day he's posting a picture of a new light that he's got. I'm like, man,
Look at this new. I'm pretty sure that I've been there before. I've seen this band called the Southern Style Band, and I don't remember what it looked like inside, but I thought it was kind of small. I don't know if it's the same place we're talking about, but it sounds like the same place.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Unless they had upgrades.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
he's been working
Okay,
on it.
so
So
it's-
they definitely come a
that's
long way in the
awesome.
last.
well, you know,
year.
I can't wait.
you know, Queens Landing off 150.
Yeah.
Just past it, you go almost the very next right takes you in next to.
It's like a
the-
little road, right? That
Yeah, it
swerves
goes
in the
back, and there's
Yep.
like three
There's
different.
3 places down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one on the left, and they.
Yeah, he's upgraded the
That's
stage,
awesome.
the lighting, the sound.
Wow,
They
there's a
they
lot
really
of
put
stuff
a
in
lot
there.
of money into it, and they're booking some pretty good entertainment
Yeah,
down there.
oh, absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
and thank goodness for him reaching out for you metal guys. You know, so
They're gonna
Yeah.
have a taste of Annabel Lee.
Yeah, that's right.
It is gonna be the last metal show they've ever played.
you guys got some roots in that area too, right? I mean, you're
Yeah.
Mooresville guys, so you got the hometown crowd there.
So you guys are playing next Saturday too at
Ground Zero.
Ground Zero.
Yep.
And you
Chandler's
got
birthday.
Reflect, Refine, Chaos Ensues, Sam. He's having a party here soon. You know that, right?
We do now.
Yeah.
Jot it down.
Sorry, Sam. If you didn't send him an invite,
Sam,
they're
we're gonna
invited
crash your
now.
party.
It's gonna be all over
You're fine,
Facebook
don't
and
worry.
He's
YouTube.
like, dude, what's this? You're having a party, didn't invite us. Let's see, who else? Dragged by the Neck. I love those guys.
They're awesome.
We did a show with those guys just recently, and you know those I can't say enough good things about them. Days to Break, I've seen them as well. Very, 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 very good group of guys. You know what I mean?
I've seen those guys live, and man, they have some energy. Like I saw them at the Somewhere Else Tavern, and these guys just threw down. They were like playing for like thousands of people. Their bass player like threw his bass down. He was just like slapping it on the ground.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this is
Yeah.
a fucking show.
Yeah.
I was like, I like this. These guys are good, so I'm really glad to be playing
And the
with
drummer
these guys.
looks like Cam Newton. Am I right? I ain't lying. I
Maybe
told
it
him.
is.
It took after I told him that he's like.
He's moonlighting.
I was like, hey, man, friend me on Facebook. It took him like months before he'd go, okay, Cam Newton, my ass. But, dude,
Wait for him to have a couple of good games, and then maybe.
and I think the bass player you're talking about, I think he's like from the Bronx or someplace, New York. You know, he's a transplant as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think I'm talking about the same band, right?
Well,
I'm not sure.
know.
You saw these guys.
Or,
I haven't seen them.
I've
or am I
seen Days
thinking?
to Break.
Am I thinking Unhinged?
yeah, it might be them.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Oh,
I know-
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
My
I don't know
apologies
these
to
guys. They're-
Days to Break.
Yeah, I'm the only one that from Annabelle.
Hey, they got their
I've seen
name
these
on the
guys.
radio, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't complain. Any press is good press, right?
So these guys, actually, Jim, I'll let you take it from here. You guys, your next show's coming up.
Yeah, we're busy. We got a lot coming up. This next show is actually our drummer's birthday bash, so
Yeah.
come out and party with us. It's gonna be fun. We're going out to Wilmington to a place called the Calico Room, which is really small and it's right in the center of Wilmington. So I guess they get a lot of foot traffic. And that was kind of just a random hookup. The band Played by Kings asked us to start playing shows. They asked us to play at like 5 or 6 different places, and it was like
Oh, really?
we were just booked already at most of them. And they're like, "Well, come out to Wilmington." We're like, "I haven't played in Wilmington." Okay, we'll go out there.
And that's how I'll tell you what. And if I'm not mistaken, where it is, it's right downtown Wilmington.
Yeah.
And the traffic, and with the college kids back in school, dude, those streets are gonna be packed. That place is gonna be packed. None of the bars that are there are really huge. They're all those very long, narrow bars, like the old buildings up north. You know what I mean? And you gotta kind of scoot in like this. You know what I mean? But sometimes those are the funnest. They're the greatest. I mean, especially with you. I know you love to get up
You'll be
front
outside.
personal.
I'll be outside.
They'll all hear us, whether they come in or not. We've got a GMA show up in Salem, Virginia. Dirty Foot and Cadaver Creator. I think there's one more band.
Rings a bell.
I think they're from Gastonia.
Yeah.
They're more death metal.
Yeah.
They're good dudes.
Yeah.
And of course, the Mooresville show. Our buddy Jesse hooked us up at the Orange Peel for a Sunday afternoon barbecue metal show. I think it starts at like 3 or 4, over by 9 or 10. Blackwater Drowning's playing. I'm not sure who else. Towards Halloween, we're going out to Raleigh. A couple November dates, Rural Retreat, Virginia, and I think we're looking at a milestone show with Den of Wolves. They're a younger band, good friends of ours, releasing an EP. So keep an eye on our Facebook page. We got a lot coming up. Love to see you guys out of shows and rocking out,
partying up,
rocking out. And you know something. And there's another thing that I wanted to bring up. Do you guys see, like, you know, we just saw Vinnie Paul pass. You know, God bless him. You know, I'm a big fan, and you know, I broke my heart to see him pass. But I watched an interview with him, and he said, you know, playing in Hell Yeah, especially the last part of Hell Yeah. You know, they'd go on tour and everything, and you know, with a lot of the new bands that are out there, he said, you know, it's tough to find a band that parties. You know, they play and then they go on their buses and sip on tea or drink water. You know what I mean? And you know, he said, you know, back in the day, you know, especially during the Pantera days, man, you know, they're known for what? Smoking up, drinking up, partying, having a great time, you know.
Trashing hotels.
You know, you know what I mean? I mean, and it seems, you know, from what I've seen too, on a personal level, that I've seen that a lot of the bands in metal and this and that, I don't know if they're becoming more straight edge, you know what I mean, or what the case may be. I mean, I'm not saying that people need to go out there and get shitty drunk, you know what I mean? But, you know, at the end of the night, if somebody says, hey, we're having an after hours party, and you just got off the freaking stage, you know what I mean, and you haven't even had a beer yet, you know, that's what I want to hear from somebody. Hey, you want to, you know, drink some beers after hours? Like, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Let's do this. I don't, you know, and you just don't see that with a lot of bands anymore. You know, they get done playing, they pack up their stuff, and they go home.
Boring. No, we like the party. I'm a party animal, man. I like the party.
You know, and you know, not to, you know, get into people that, you know, that love the party so much that they have actual addiction problems or anything. You know what I mean? But you know, it just seems like it's getting a little bit more uptight in regard to the metal scene of 2018 and continuing. I don't know. Is it just me or?
It's not, and I've always kind of wondered that too. It's like, is the lack of money to these bands, is that making it a little more serious for them? You know, that they can't do all the fun stuff when they're out on tour. You know, it's you get paid very little. You're back on the bus and you're at the next show the next night and you're playing, you know, 28 nights a month and bringing home like $2 or $3 grand a night. You know, back in the Pantera days, maybe they're bringing home 20,000 a night.
Right.
I don't know if that's got something to do with it or not, but it's made it more difficult and more stressful for a band to go out on tour. And it's a good band, but there's just not the big money there anymore. I don't know.
Well, you know, put it this way: if a band's splitting $2 grand a night and they're doing 5 nights a week, hell, buy a damn 6-pack. I mean,
you can
smoke
keep
a
the
blunt
on the bus.
Somebody find the man. I don't know.
You keep a liquor cabinet stocked up on the bus with that money. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I see it though.
The thing I can think of is, you know, the 80s were, you know, pretty excessive in every way. Yeah. So once you live through maybe that decade, anything else might be a little bit, you know, ho-hum to them. You know, somebody like Vinnie Paul, you know, if he was in his heyday in the 80s, man, he's
definitely old school,
yeah. I mean, that's, you know, it's a different world, you know, maybe.
Well,
people got a lot of distractions, you know. bones.
I do get that. I just, it just seems like, you're taking the F out of fun. They're turning into FU,
You think they're
I don't
posers,
know.
maybe? Maybe they're not, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, this guy right here, I can tell he's the real deal, man. I can tell he knows how to party, but you think some of these guys just, going through the motions and aren't really, into that rock and roll lifestyle?
There's so many bands out there now. I mean, there's just so many, and it's tough to keep up with them. For instance, Ground Zero. Nick puts in shows just about every night. 3, 4, 5 bands. Boom, 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 boom. Most 90% of them touring bands. And a lot of them I've never heard of before. I'm like, who the hell are these guys? Who the hell is this? Who the hell is this? Who the hell? There's just so many that and it's not really a competition thing. You know what I mean? To me, it's more of a musicianship type thing. You know what I mean? What is pleasing to the ear. And when I hear, people taking metal and trying to reinvent the wheel, you know what I mean? I'm kind of like, you aren't the first person to come up with it.
There's no need to do that.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't,
There's not a guitar riff I come up with that somebody hasn't played before.
Right.
The market's definitely saturated.
Absolutely.
And I think the best thing to do is to not let it get to you in a competitive way and say, oh, well, this band's doing this, we need to do that. This band does this, we need to do more of that. I think you just need to stay true to yourself and true to your friends that you're in the scene with, and just keep the connection strong, and it takes care of you. It could take care of everybody. The scene grows from that kind of thing. So
exactly,
the more competitive you get, the further out of touch you probably get too.
Yeah. Well, something for me, it's never been competition, because I love listening to everybody. What I've found that I guess because I'm old, and I've seen the scene change through the Charlotte area about 4 or 5 different times. You know what I mean? So complete fresh bands, and and being in it. Sometimes I'm like, wow, there's only a few of us left. Brad Sellers, you know what I mean? Jody. You know what I mean? There's only a handful of us over 50s that are still doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why I asked the question about is the scene kind of mellowing out and going sober, or whatever the case may be,
we definitely saw a split at the Metal Fest. They had a good core of younger bands and a good core of us older bands. And us older bands were all in the green rooms, drinking, having wine. Everybody's getting along. Yeah. The younger bands kind of just kept to themselves, had their little things going on, but they definitely weren't coexisting.
Them in their dressing room, all of them looking in their phones, doing it. That's generational, It's anywhere you go.
That's a big part of it. The gap there too. It's definitely different.
So is it Annabel Lee time again?
Hey, why not?
What are we listening to now, guys?
Brutality of the System.
Ooh, yeah.
Anything to say about this one? Or is this another
Brutality of the System? Yeah, this song is mainly about, let's see, how corrupt. We're living in a corrupt system.
No.
No, we're not. But it's the brutality of it. It's like how we're basically being forced to do a lot of things, but not directly being forced. It's like we have no choice, so we just kind of do it anyway. But then again, it goes with all the media lies and all that and whatnot. So brutality of the system is how the media uses their powers and of editing and all that to basically push us to fight each other and just to cause shit.
All right.
Unless you're metal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a listen. Let's take a listen to "Brutality of the System" by Annabel Lee. All right.
Oh yeah, dude, that is brutality of the system.
Brutality at its finest.
Pretty damn
It really
brutal.
is. I'm telling you what.
That system sucks.
Yeah. Well, I guess in regard to that, yes, we do have a broken system in a sense, but it's still a great system compared to other places in the world.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? I mean, we wouldn't be able. We wouldn't be able to write songs like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if we're like in Iran or Korea or something,
At least we
we'd be
can
like,
talk about the system.
to the gulag, or that's Russia or whatever.
I think that song is more about like when people, we're very technological. Like we watch videos and stuff now. We really don't go out. We just we mainly look on our phone time to time.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of things that we see like on the internet, a lot of people believe it, but a lot of it is fake.
Yeah.
And but we believe it. And sometimes, without seeing like the full video, it can put people like against each other before they even see the bigger picture. So
Yeah, I mean, people start tearing up their friendships over that stuff. You know, somebody, the thing is, they put this out or this out, and you have to pick one or the other.
Right.
And you pick this one, and then half these people will just say, "Well, you're not my friend anymore because you picked that one."
Yeah.
The other half are just like, "Well, you picked one because you had to pick one, and that's what I did too." And that's kind of where we're at. It's like it's either one or the other, and then half these people are just like tearing each other up over it for no reason. We're all still just people.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And that's where we're lost. That's where the brutality of the system comes
That's
in.
right.
Is they're keeping us in turmoil with each other, and they're all just moving on up, making more and more money.
Yeah.
and
Take their
Exactly.
take their individuality
just
away.
preoccupied with all this stuff they keep feeding us, and don't buy into it. Don't believe everything you read and see, and
I just keep that
research
off my
it.
Facebook, man. No political posts for me.
If something
man.
really sparks your interest, learn about it.
Yes.
Bingo.
You know,
Research.
and educate
Document
yourself.
It. Right.
Oh, it's amazing. Some intelligent people. You think they're intelligent, be your friends on Facebook, and then you'll see them share some crazy shit that you just know. I mean, so you think really they believe that to be true enough to share it on Facebook? I mean, just some off the wall stuff, and I'm like,
I just
Google it. For
I just
God's sake,
purge people.
It's real easy to do.
Just like
unfriend.
I never talked to you before in my life. I'll see you later. Anyways, but so goals. What are you guys' goals? I mean, where do you guys see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I mean, do you see this as a means to an end, or something that you really just enjoy doing? Do you want to keep it going as long as possible and be one of those bands that people can personally, I love the more undergroundish bands. You know what I mean? I mean, in the longevity of things, you take Motorhead, for instance, you take, what's some other bands out there. But anyways, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, a band like 311, it's not really a metal band, but they're so just able to do what they want to do and play the shows they want to play when they want to play them. They play in a summer tour. Like, to me, that would be the ideal thing, is we get to a point where we've got a nationwide fan base that can support us to go out on tour once or twice a year for a good stretch of time and hit a lot of cities, and just put out an album every 2 or 3 years. Like that to me is where I would like to be in 5 to 10 years.
Well, if you guys ever get up in the Great White North again, or do, and you've got connections up there, I've got some connections up in New York, upstate, and the upstate cities and surrounding areas up there. I'd be more than happy to, throw you guys in their direction, because I think they dig the hell out of you,
That part of the country is like the true test. You get up into New York and Boston and in the New England area, and it's sink or swim there.
It is, and the worst part about it is, the place will be packed and they'll all have their arms crossed like this and not even moving, watching you play. And you're like, oh my God, do I suck? This is horrible. They don't like us. And then you get off stage and they're like, man, that was awesome. And I'm like, what do you mean that was awesome? Why didn't you move around, man? Your damn head.
I can't say I'm that fan. That's the way I am at a show, man. I just, I zone on it. I'm not a mover shaker. I'm not in the pit, but I'm enjoying it, even though I might not look like I am.
I think sometimes, I mean, as a vocalist, I think it's good to interact with, your crowd out there because, I mean, I consider them all family. So I'm like, let me see your hands. Let me hear you scream. Open it up.
I will scream because that doesn't include
I mean,
moving,
yeah. So I think communication is good. I mean, if you want people to move, just tell them.
Yeah, interaction.
Because sometimes people, they don't know. I see people moving around like they start nudging each other. I'm like, you right there, open this motherfucker. You know what I mean? And like, it's just
Calls
like,
them out.
yeah, and then they do. So I mean, it's all about communication. I mean, you learn that along the way, though.
So that kind of leads into defining success. That's what you define as success, is to move people and to bring them into your music and into your world.
Yeah, absolutely. To open them up.
Right.
I think a lot of people are, they're all buttoned up. They don't want to be unleashed. So, I mean, we look at we want to unleash people because people come out to a show, they want to have a good time, they want to party. So we're going to bring the party to them, just, shake them around a little bit, wake them up. Have some fun.
Shake and bake.
That's right. Shake and bake.
So, Jim, what's your definition of success?
Just to me, the definition would be being happy with the level you've achieved for the time you've put into it, I guess.
Right.
Just your formula worked out, I guess. So, you put in the effort, you've paid your dues, you played your shows and done your tours and fell on your face, had some good shows, some bad shows, but at the end of the day, are you truly happy with what you've done? Are you satisfied with yourself for doing all those things? So.
And not only, well, people don't realize, especially in metal bands, and it goes for most all bands, but, we all have families, we have kids, we have jobs, we have other responsibilities that first and foremost take priority, and so when you can squeeze in that extra time for a band, it's like this summer, my wife's like, we haven't been able to go camping all summer because you've got a gig every weekend. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, honey. I'd love to go camping and fishing and, but still make time for family and children and everything. I think my personal definition of success is being true to who you are and your music, and especially true to your family and friends, because without that there's nothing. You know what I mean?
Your whole support system.
You gotta have the support.
You can be the biggest rock star in the whole wide world, but if you have nobody, you have nothing.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I play other people's music. I'm a DJ. I can't imagine the feeling you must get when you're on the stage and you're playing something that you created and people are jamming to it and singing the words with you back at you. I mean, I can imagine that.
It's a great feeling.
To have that one time would be a major success for anybody. So, kudos to you guys for creating and keep on creating.
Yeah, man, it's good. And we're experimenting with different. Like we have our song "Divided We Stand." Yeah. It's still heavy, but it has some melodic parts in it. It has some singing in it. It's kind of test it out. Test the waters out and see how people react to it. And a lot of people are like, "Oh man, that's really good. I like that song." So then we're reaching out to a whole nother crowd as well.
Right.
Like some of my influence, like I love Lamb of God and I love Killswitch Engage. So I kind of get my influences from them. So I'm like, oh man, this is cool. So I started listening to them. I'm like, oh man, gives me the energy. I watch some of their videos. I'm like, it's good to have good harmony in there and have some crazy scream, just be rowdy up on stage. And you just take that and put it into your own and get up on stage in front of all your friends and family and do the same thing. Just tear it up and make it your own and have a good time. Bring the party. I love it. I look forward to every show.
I can tell.
Every show.
Come on, rock and roll. He's a rock star.
I just want to bottle his energy. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh my God, man.
Jim, we need to start bottling up some Annabel Lee energy.
If we could, we'd be well on our way.
Energy drinks.
You don't even have to.
We'll call it.
We'll promote it on Statesvegas radio.
That personally, that is such a great thing to have, and that's one of the things that drew me to you guys. Like when I contacted you about that show, I unfortunately had to cancel. You know what I mean? I was like, something? These guys deserve, a good freaking show, a good slot. You know what I mean? They've been plugging along for a long time. And freaking, I watched Josh on Facebook, and I'm not stalking you or anything, dude. Shit just comes up on my feed, But, you know what I mean? I see the energy there and the love and the companionship and how you connect with all the bands that you play with, you know what I mean, in a positive way, and you don't get that a lot. A lot of times you get this, you know what I mean, or hey, and sometimes I might even fall into a category where sometimes I'm like, how long I've been doing this, fucking impress me, you know what I mean? And I hate to get into that mode, especially with the really young bands that are just coming out and they're like, yes, we're gonna make it. I'm like, no, you're not. Yes, we are.
We had.
No, you're not.
I remember we did a couple shows, and like right after we got done performing, like they're like, oh man, we gotta compete against that. And I looked at that dude and I was like, hey man, it's not a competition, but I promise you this, I'm gonna be up front there throwing down for you the whole time. So I'll be up there, tearing it up.
That's right. That's awesome.
So I mean, he was like, oh, all right, hell yeah. And I was like, yeah, man. I mean, that's what it is. It's a support system. I mean, it's not about who's better. Right. I mean, we're all out there having a good time. We're all a family up there. So we're here to put on a show. There ain't no competition. When you start making it competitive, you start messing up.
Well, something, even the local regional scene, let me put it this way, unless you're signed, you're on tour, and you have people setting your shit up and tearing your shit down, hey man, grab an oar. We're all in the same boat. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously. And some bands have been around for a long time and they deserve a break, but unfortunately, let's really think about it. We're in the dirty South, boys. We're in the Bible Belt, which surprised me because North Carolina has so many great metal bands. I mean, I go up to New York and I watch some of the bands up there when I go up to visit. I'm like, I'm one of those guys. You suck. You suck. You suck. You suck. You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? Because they haven't left their 20-mile radius of their house. You know what I mean? And have a warped vision on what the music scene is in the rest of the world. But North Carolina, I mean, oh my God, there's just so much talent bleeding into Virginia and South Carolina. I mean, Atlanta. You know what I mean? I'm just like, holy shit, there's so many great bands out there, Hey,
one band you gotta check out, Black Plague.
Oh, I love Black Plague.
Yeah?
Yeah. They played that Blind Tiger show too when we all played a couple years back.
Yeah, this weekend they're playing with Lamb of God.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
At
That
the Blue Ridge.
the Metal Fest.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah,
For sure. It's 5 hours, away, but I'm gonna be there.
That's awesome.
These guys are awesome. Black
Absolutely.
Plague.
I love their new video.
Yeah.
Did Will Moss do that?
Existence.
Did he?
Yeah.
And then Jamie King, he recorded it.
Yeah,
that's what you got to go to. You guys already been to Jamie King, haven't you?
No, the engineer Cody we work with had a CD of ours mastered by him, or a single. I think the Revolution single was.
Yeah,
we didn't even know he was doing it. And he's like, "Oh, I just got this mastered from Jamie King. Check it out." We're like,
"Wow, that's awesome."
Could charge us extra for that.
Yeah.
But Jamie, I guess he was working with him and just trying to show him some of the ropes because Cody's very young. And his product is very good.
Yeah,
so,
very good.
If anybody's looking for an alternative or somebody different to just put a different ear on their music, Cody's a great guy for that.
Sound Force Recordings.
Really?
Cody
Sound
Rogers.
Force Recordings.
Hell yeah. I have to look them up. Yeah. All right, guys. So I guess we're going to wrap it up here. I think we're about time is running out, which I hate because I'm really having a good time.
Yeah.
So
lots of fun. Do we want to mention our contest, the swag contest?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. We have some Annabel Lee stickers, lanyards, koozies, CD.
Of course, the CD.
That's you want the CD, people. You want the CD.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, subscribe to the YouTube channel and comment in what you think Annabel Lee, the band, was named after. Right.
There we go.
Is that what we're going for?
Yep.
There we go.
Right.
If you get into comments on what they named their band after, where the name Annabel Lee came from, the first one to comment in and subscribe. You got to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll get the swag.
And if you don't subscribe, then
you lose.
just send a text.
Subscribe or you lose.
Of course, we got to get your address and all that, unless you're in an immediate area, and we can just drop it off to you. But subscribe, check it out, leave a comment.
Yeah, and our Statesvegas radio listeners Saturday at 8.
Get the app.
Yeah, go
Put the app on your phone.
Yeah,
That's right.
I command you.
But while you're listening to the Statesvegas radio show, click over to the YouTube channel and comment so they can get a chance to win too.
Absolutely. And one last plug. Friday, September 29th at Apps and Taps at the Pontoon. Slaughter by the Water. Black Ritual, Annabel Lee, Black Demise, and Divine Treachery. $5, people. You can't. I can't even tell you how great of a show it's going to be for just $5. If you can't afford $5 to see 4 great bands, you might as well keep your ass at home. Anyways,
if you're gonna take your loved ones out to a movie for $8 or $10, you need to take that money.
What was that
and
date
just come
again?
on out.
The date again?
Friday, September 28th.
September 28th.
In
It's
Morrisville.
on Friday night. All right.
Yeah, it's a Friday night gig, which generally try to do Saturday night gigs, but they're been kind enough to give us a Friday night. Yeah,
Great spot.
Come spend Friday night on the lake.
That's
right.
Why not?
And don't forget, next Saturday, Ground Zero with Reflect, Refine, Chaos Ensues, Dragged by the Neck, Days to Break, and, of course, Annabel Lee. And it's Chad Honeycutt's birthday.
So birthday punches, right?
You'll throw him in the pit.
They still do that, right?
Throw him in the pit. Toss him in the pit.
Yep. We gotta get him in the mosh pit.
Oh, yeah.
No excuses.
You might get a lot of punches in there.
Oh, man, that is so awesome. Birthday punches.
Birthday punches.
You don't want it to be his last birthday.
Okay, we want to thank
We love you, Chad.
We love you
I
lots.
want to thank Sid from Annabel Lee.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Woo.
For coming out. And Jim.
Brian, appreciate you, brother.
Hedeka.
Thank you guys so much for coming out. We appreciate it.
Hedeka.
All right, we're gonna leave them with one more from Annabel Lee, Betrayal.
Hell yeah.
Here we go. Peace out,
my
guys.
favorite.
Thanks for
Later.
joining us. See you next time.